Right, let's get to futures in focus. WTI heading for its longest run of gains since April. U.S. output plunges the most in a year. Gold falling for the first time in 3 days, erasing an earlier gain. Joining us now from the CME to discuss further, Joe Cusick, head of the Cusick Group. Joe, thanks for joining us. This winning run, this six-day winning run, best since April. How long is it going to last?
Oh, boy, I tell you, the bulls right now, let's call it a moral victory after the data that we've seen. You know, I still think that the $44 level is going to be the sweet spot. That's a short-term support at this juncture. But I think the bulls are going to have to take what they're going to get. I mean, obviously with the Chinese cutting production by about 3%, and the fact that they're basically not importing any more coal, that's really the catalyst right now, and the weak dollar. So, boy, I tell you, I think there's going to be stiff resistance if you start getting in any higher than that $46, $47 level.
What should we read into that big drop in U.S. production, Joe, yesterday, the biggest since July last year? I mean, what was the takeaway from that?
Well, I think right now it kind of makes sense. I mean, you're getting, once you see crude sticking in this range and the amount of rig counts that have come online over the course of the last year and a half, I mean, it's just been astronomical. The bottom line is that we have a glut. We have a 5-year high. There's over 500 million barrels in storage. They got to do something until we start seeing the demand, and we saw a little bit on the gasoline side, which is one of the refined products. But, boy, I tell you, you got to get this inventory down, and they're going to have to start cutting back on production, if anything.
Joe, let's get to gold, because for the last couple of weeks, gold futures have been stuck around $1,250 an ounce. What's going to move gold out of this range?
I think it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be the continuation of some upside move in the equity markets, both here in the States and over in Europe and Asia. That's for the ups. So if you're a bull in gold, that's not going to work in your benefit, especially with the weakness in dollar. The only other thing I could say, if you're going to see some upside, if in fact the global inflation story is not just this short-term epidemic that the European ECB President Draghi, as well as the Bank of England, are trying to put out there, then that could be a positive catalyst for gold. We need to see inflation and some transparency into that before gold's going to really start breaking out of this range.